Hello, my name is Kevin Seery.
And I'm Norcross, and today we're introducing ClassRoots.
Now more than ever, having a college education is extremely important. And with the rising cost of college tuition, academic success is very important.
And because of the importance placed on academic success, the university provides us with plenty of resources to excel and succeed. But students don't always use these resources as effectively or frequently as they could. And so today we're focusing on peers in the classroom.
So how many students are trying to overcome the same academic hurdles? In the United States, there's over 20 million of us. Now, Nick and I both realized that we had the same problem in that we felt we could do better in our classes if we had easier communication channels with our peers. So we wanted to figure out who else out there was like us, and so we did some research, asked around, and we found that 36% of the students that we surveyed between here and Middlesex community, 36% of them experienced the very same problem.
And from further research, we found that 86% of students across the United States commute to campus, which places a greater distance between the classroom and the student. So it makes it harder to form organic groups and communities in the classroom.
And we know that students want to create these communities because 80% of those students that we surveyed said they would utilize study groups more often if they were easier to organize. So we're thinking about the learning management system market, and that's in 2018 worth $7.8 billion, which is a 25% increase over last year.
And compared to other competitors in the learning management system market, we've found that none other solve the same problem that we're looking to address, which is peer-to-peer communication. There's Blackboard, which is a stream of information between the professor and the student, and there's sites like Facebook or Meetup.com that bring people together, but not in the same structure as bringing the whole classroom of people together specifically.
So when thinking about these problems and hurdles that students can face, there's three major ones. Students who have trouble grasping the class material, students who have trouble taking effective notes, and students who just feel overwhelmed with the amount of coursework that they have.
So we think that we can aid all of these difficulties with an app that we're building called ClassRoots. And here's some screenshots of the prototype we're working on, and it's a cross-platform app that brings students together in the same classroom.
Now, ClassRoots is engaging because it allows students to stay in the loop when it comes to homework and upcoming exams. It's helpful because students can ask questions to their peers and reference other students' questions and answers. And it's really simple because we notify people when someone responds to them or makes a post of their own.
What makes ClassRoots unique is that it automatically generates a group for every class in the university. So it really facilitates a student to log in, search for their classes, join a group, and ask questions and get answers from them.
Now, something like ClassRoots, which is a free-to-use app, you have to think about two stages. There's one, which is that user acquisition, and finding the students to use it, and there's two, which is defining the revenue model. Now, ClassRoots actually solved the problem for universities as well, because universities like data, and that's why they put out surveys once a semester to figure out what their student body thinks about their classes, but we feel like we can do better than that. So by combining polls with usage analytics from the app, we can put that together and give schools a more comprehensive look at their student body. And we offer that to schools for a yearly subscription fee.
Now, in order to bring ClassRoots to market, we're asking for a budget of $5,000. $1,000 to further develop the prototype that we're working on. We're currently developing a cross-platform app that we want to roll out to iOS and Android, but we want to make sure it's as robust as possible. And also $1.5K for Google Cloud Platform in order to host a scalable and reliable backend server.
The other $2,500 will be used for business development, so that's $500 for incorporating here in Massachusetts, $1,000 for hiring campus brand ambassadors to spread the word to their classmates and friends, and another $1,000 for a further social media ad campaign later on. So with this timeline, we feel like we could realistically do a soft launch this fall, 2018. So thank you all for your time. This has been ClassRoots.
Yes, we do plan to first launch it here because we would like to do it on a by-university basis because we have a list of all the classes here, and so it would be easy to here and then expand out when it makes sense.
Thanks, Ken.
I was just going to ask, is this something that the professors would have access to or be part of, or is it just?
The professors are an important aspect in terms of getting students to be familiar with the app and getting to use it, but the plan isn't to have them as an active part of the conversation because Blackboard kind of already covers that.
Well, perhaps at first, when we're launching it at first, like do smaller test groups and then let it go from there.
Yeah, I was going to ask a similar question. First of all, I think you guys did a really great job. Thank you. Because I think there's a real need, as you pointed out, for help. I mean, so many people struggle on campus and sometimes don't feel like they have a vehicle to figure things out. So I think it's a great idea. I love the notion of communities of interest because I think it's in today's day and age, with social media, I mean, it's really prime time for that to come into play. I was going to ask a similar question about student to student, but also student to teacher, and potentially the expansion of capability within the product. Are you discussing or thinking about your product pipeline and future capability?
We've thought about many various features and had a lot of discussion about where it could go, but right now we're trying to focus on the minimum useful thing that we can get to market so we can kind of gain a base and then go from there.
We definitely are thinking about the teacher's presence because we're thinking about how it will reduce, it benefits the teachers as well because it reduces the amount of redundant answers they have to answer, questions they have to answer, like via email.
Just one other question. Can you articulate again your value proposition around this annual subscription fee to the university? I wasn't quite clear on that.
Right, so universities want to get an idea of what kind of students end up being students who stick around like all 4 years, and they really care about their retention rates. And it's not practical for a school to give a survey every week or even more granularly like every lecture. But they want to apply that to figuring out how they can best serve the students. So by figuring out what students actually think about each specific lecture, along with like how often they're communicating with their peers for studying, that can give schools a better idea of how they can adjust to better serve students' needs.
Did you validate that at all with any other university staff or anything like that to see that they're willing to pay for that service?
So in January, Nick and I were lucky enough to receive a grant from UMass Lowell to go to Learn Launch, which is an educational technology conference in Boston. There were a lot of representatives there from not only like industry giants like Blackboard, Canvas, but also representatives from many schools in Massachusetts. And they all corroborated that data is really important to universities.
I just want to comment, first off, well presented, and I like the concept. It's kind of like an institutional Facebook page. And I think it could be expanded amongst clubs as well as classrooms.
Clubs is a good idea, thank you.
I love the name and the photo you chose. ClassRoots. Right, we all have our roots to soul. I wondered if is there a way you think of keeping the connection beyond just the nonprofit or
That's not something we discussed really. You have anything on that?
I'm curious, what do you mean by one class?
well, I'm just it's really nice and you have the app for the class to go and share information. But just it was mostly the name, the ClassRoots name that we made. It might be nice if you go beyond that or
Oh, like people adding friends and stuff like that, so.
We have to think about how, like, obviously the semester, or the classes reset every semester, so that makes sense to be able to continue. We've thought about how we want to promote interaction between like the people that use it, and we don't really want to like build a whole messaging, stream it at least for our first launch. So we're thinking about like linking it to other social medias, so that it's just a way to network like so, which would be a way to continue beyond the classroom.